Israel Defense Minister Israel Katz said on Wednesday that Hamas will receive blows with an unprecedented intensity in Gaza for a long time if Hamas refuses to release Israeli hostages. Katz spoke while visiting the southern Israeli town of Netivot. Israel's military said militants fired rockets at Israel from the Buridge area overnight and that its forces responded with a strike targeting a militant. The military also issued evacuation orders for the area. The war began when Hamas-led militants attacked southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing some 1,200 people and abducting around 250. About 100 hostages are still held in Gaza, at least a third believed to be dead. Israel's air and ground offensive has killed over 45,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry. It says women and children make up more than half the dead but does not say how many of those killed were militants. The Israeli military says it only targets militants and blames Hamas for civilian deaths because its fighters operate in dense residential areas. The army says it has killed 17,000 militants, without providing evidence. American and Arab mediators have spent nearly a year trying to broker a ceasefire and hostage release, but those efforts have repeatedly stalled. Hamas has demanded a lasting truce, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to keep fighting until total victory.
אני רוצה להעביר מכאן מסר ברור לראשי המחבלים בעזה. אם החמאס לא יאפשר בקרוב את שחרור החטופים הישראלים מעזה, למרות נכונות ישראל לפשרות מרחיקות לכת, בהתאם לעקרונות שהתווה נשיא ארצות הברית.
Greek authorities have agreed to transfer 24 anti-aircraft guns for the needs of the Ukrainian Armed Forces missiles Sea Sparrow, which were previously purchased by Athens for its own fleet. The talk is about the delivery of 24 SAMs, which will be used to arm the Soviet Buk systems adapted for the use of Western weapons. In this modification, designated Franken SAM, these SAMs received the ability to fire ship-based Sea Sparrow anti-aircraft missiles and AIM-9L/1-1 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. As local publication Kathy Merini points out, this aid is in line with Greece's commitment to support Ukraine in the military sphere, but it will not lead to a reduction in the country's defense capability in the Aegean Sea. Despite repeated requests from allies to provide advanced systems such as the S-300 and Patriot air defense systems, Athens has resolutely refused, citing its own security concerns and the lack of reliable alternatives. The Sea Sparrow, with a semi-active radar homing head, has a firing radius of up to 40 kilometers and a flight speed of up to Mach 2, over 2,500 kilometers an hour. This SAM is designed to combat high-speed air targets, in particular cruise missiles, fighters and drones. Sea Sparrows are US-made short-range missiles that can be launched from the sea or ground to intercept cruise missiles or aircraft. Ukraine received its first batch of Sea Sparrows from the US in January 2023. Athens had previously refused Kiev's requests for certain air defense systems. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said in April 2024 that he would not send Ukraine either Patriots or S-300 missile systems due to Greece's own defense needs. The Sea Sparrow missiles will be integrated into Ukraine's innovative Franken SAM initiative, where Ukrainian engineers modify Soviet-era air defense systems to fire Western missiles. Ukrainian forces have already successfully reconfigured their Buk M1 platforms to launch these RIM-7 Sea Sparrow missiles against aerial targets, demonstrating their ability to bridge Soviet and Western military technologies. The program's nickname, Franken SAM, refers to Frankenstein, reflecting how these hybrid systems combine components from different origins. The latest transfer adds to Greece's existing military support, which includes ammunition, infantry fighting vehicles, and other equipment. Additionally, Greece announced plans in July 2024 to transfer 32 older F-16 fighters to Ukraine via US upgrades, though Hellenic Air Force officials warn this could impact their defense capabilities. As of December 2024, this transfer remains pending confirmation. Russian TV host Vladimir Solovyov, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, recently called for Alaska's return to Russia during a recent Russian state media program, according to Newsweek. Newsweek recalls Alaska once belonged to Russia. In 1967, it was sold to the United States after then-President Andrew Johnson signed the Alaska Treaty. It gained the status of a state on January 3, 1959. Alaska and Russia are positioned about 53 miles apart at their closest point. Tensions around Russia and Alaska intensified in January 2024 when reports surfaced that Putin was looking into re-obtaining Alaska, reviving an effort pushed by Russian media throughout the ongoing war in Ukraine that Moscow could seize the state. During the recent program, Solovyov said Finland, Warsaw, the Baltics, Moldova and Alaska should be returned to the Russian Empire. Do you think I'm joking when I mention Finland, Warsaw, the Baltics, Moldova? Everything returned to the Russian Empire, and Alaska too, while you're at it, Solovyov said, in a translated video. According to propagandist Solovyov, Finland, Warsaw, the Baltics, Moldova and even Alaska should be returned to the Russian Empire. They won't stop at Ukraine. The Russian imperialists are insatiable. Anton Gerashchenko, a former advisor to the Ukrainian Ministry of Internal Affairs, wrote on X, "The narrowest distance between mainland Russia and mainland Alaska is approximately 55 miles. However, in the body of water between Alaska and Russia, known as the Bering Strait, there lies two small islands known as Big Diomede and Little Diomede. Interestingly enough, Big Diomede is owned by Russia, while Little Diomede is owned by the US. The stretch of water between these two islands is only about 2.5 miles wide and actually freezes over during the winter, so you could technically walk from the US to Russia on this seasonal sea ice." Keir Giles, a senior consulting fellow at Chatham House, previously told Newsweek, continued Russian approaches toward US airspace are a reminder that while the bulk of Russia's land forces are tied down in Ukraine, its air and naval forces continue to pose a global threat to its adversaries, including the United States. It's another indicator that Russia is readying itself for confrontation with the West beyond Ukraine, and any break in the fighting there, for instance through a ceasefire, will allow Russia to reconstitute its forces even faster without Ukraine destroying them, almost as fast as they are built. Although it remains unclear if Russia will make moves against Alaska. As the Russia-Ukraine war continues, tensions between Moscow and NATO are likely to increase, especially if the alliance's European members bear more of the brunt of support for Ukraine.